Americans eat over 1.5 billion pounds of potato chips every single year. But despite how much we rely on it today, there was a time when people were absolutely terrified of this vegetable. When the potato first arrived in Europe from South America in the 1500s, locals spent 2 centuries refusing to touch it. They avoided the crop entirely, firmly believing that eating it caused leprosy, dangerous fevers, and moral decline. France only finally accepted the potato because of a chemist named Antoine Augustin Parmentier. In 1787, he planted a potato field and stationed armed guards around it during the day, but at night he intentionally left the field unguarded. He knew the locals would eventually sneak in and steal what they assumed the king was protecting. Human psychology and a clever trick finally broke the barrier. Looking closely at our modern favorites, you'll see this same pattern. Our go-to styles usually started as human quirks or happy accidents. We have to begin with thinly cut, deep-fried potatoes, and we have to start by clearing up a massive historical error. French fries aren't French. They were actually invented in Belgium in the late 1600s. Villagers living along the Meuse River relied on frying small fish for their meals. But when the river froze over in the winter and the fish disappeared, the villagers cut potatoes into small fish shapes and fried those instead. The confusion started during World War I. American soldiers stationed in Belgium encountered the fried potatoes, heard the local Belgian army speaking French, and brought the name home thinking the dish belonged to France. Belgium has been trying to correct this mistake for over a century, but nobody is listening. Today, McDonald's sells more French fries in a single day than the entire country of Belgium produces potatoes in a week. A simple geographic mix-up by foreign troops took a humble Belgian survival food and permanently rebranded it into the most recognizable side dish on Earth. Next up are potato chips, paper-thin, heavily salted, and dangerously crispy. The year is 1853 in the upscale resort town of Saratoga Springs, New York. A chef named George Crumb was dealing with a highly irritating customer who repeatedly sent his fried potatoes back to the kitchen for being too thick and soggy. Frustrated, Crumb decided to retaliate. He sliced a new batch of potatoes paper-thin, fried them until they were completely stiff, and aggressively oversalted them, intending to serve an inedible, sarcastic response to the diner. The irony is that the customer absolutely loved them. Word of the incredibly crispy potatoes got out, and the ruined dish began spreading rapidly from city to city. A chef's petty act of kitchen revenge created a snack food that now fuels a $30 billion global industry. Other iconic potato styles were engineered for a much more practical reason, avoiding the garbage can. Hashbrowns, which get their name from the French word hacher, meaning to chop, originated in the late 1800s as a clever method to fry up leftover boiled potatoes from the night before. This recycling concept eventually scaled up to global fast food. McDonald's took that old method of utilizing potato scraps and standardized it into their uniform hash brown patty in 1977. Around that same time, TGI Fridays invented potato skins. Kitchens were throwing away massive amounts of skins after making mashed and baked potatoes. A cook simply suggested keeping those discarded peels, filling them with cheese and bacon, and selling them to customers. By flavoring the scraps, restaurants took what used to be considered literal kitchen trash and turned it into their most profitable breakfast items and sports bar appetizers. Finally, we reached the era of restaurant upsells. In the 1950s and 60s, American steakhouses started creating loaded and twice-baked potatoes to turn basic peasant food into a high society side dish. This simple chart shows the economics at play here. A plain baked potato costs mere pennies for a restaurant to produce, but by adding specific ingredients, they justify a towering menu price. The dairy and meat piled on top do the heavy lifting. The potato provides the base, but the toppings create the value, making people pay more. Fast food chains relied on specialized Giannis reef rather than toppings. In the 1980s, Chick-fil-A invented the waffle fry by taking a specialized mandolin cutter, slicing the potato, rotating it exactly 90 degrees, and slicing again. This intersecting grid pattern creates a massive amount of crispy surface area per fry. These unique potato cuts build fierce loyalty. When KFC removed their iconic potato wedges from the menu in 2020, the customer backlash was so severe it triggered a public relations crisis. By using clever shapes and expensive toppings, restaurants turned a cheap, everyday vegetable into signature products that help them stand out and earn more money. The potato has traveled a long road, moving from a misunderstood crop that people genuinely feared to the most reliable comfort food on the planet. Whether it came from villagers surviving a frozen river in Belgium, a sarcastic chef in New York, or a cook refusing to throw away kitchen scraps, every major potato style we eat today is the result of a historical accident or a clever workaround. The potato is history's greatest culinary blank canvas. It proves that human ingenuity can take the humblest ingredient in the dirt and turn it into billions of dollars of value. Which potato dish's origin story surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments.